Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
All right, before we get started with this lesson today, all right, we just want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Bahasham,
Bahasham, Yahweh
Yahushai,
Shai,
Bahasham,
Bahasham, Rakar
Rakakwadash.
Kwadash.
Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations unto the elect. All right, now this is the brother Kabia.
And I'm Lamad Amath.
Kind of two brothers from the GMS Houston camp. All right, and we just wanted to go into a lesson today. All right, going into the history, all right, of the division of Israel. All right, which Israel was split into the northern and southern kingdom. All right, well, no, southern being representing the southern kingdom being Judah, representing the northern kingdom being Ephraim and all his counterparts in the rest of the tribes. You see anything on that?
Nah, that's it.
Yeah, we just going into the history of that, all right, and how there was once a division, but now, all right, that the breaches or the differences or the division between the tribes are being closed up. You see, right now today, as we're building up the house of David through preaching His word.
Right. And that's all prophecy, okay? Starting with the split of the northern and southern kingdom. And now to the latter days that, like the brother said, that the bridges,
Kind of the breaches,
the breaches was going to be closed, meaning the tribes are going to come back together in the last time to fulfill prophecy,
right?
beginning with the elect. So we're going to get into that.
Kind of we the Israelites, man. All right, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, now you don't have to look a certain way, have it be a certain color. You don't have to have a certain color skin, all right, to be an Israelite.
Right.
You can be an Israelite and look like a so-called white man, all right, or look like a so-called Chinese man. You see, it's all by the spirit. You see, but mainly, all right, the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is our history.
Yeah.
We going into history. This is true history we're going into.
Right.
So let's get straight into it.
Right.
If you could you get in the NLT Bible shot
Okay, good.
in First Kings 11 and verse 27.
NLT 11, 1 King chapter 11. Say 1 King chapter 11 and verse 27. And it reads,
NLT, kind.
and the NLT, getting down to it. And it reads, this is the story behind his rebellions. Solomon was rebuilding the supporting terraces and repairing the walls of the city of his father David. Verse 28, Jeroboam was a very capable young man, and when Solomon saw how industrious he was, he put him in charge of the labor force from the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh and the descendants of Joseph.
Right, and Jeroboam. All right, this is what the tribes will be separated from Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Rehoboam being the son, all right, of King Solomon, as we're gonna get into in the 12th chapter. It's going the kingdom is going to be divided, all right, between the northern and southern kingdom. Southern, all right, being with Rehoboam, and the northern being with Jeroboam.
Right.
You see, you got it. No, you got it.
Because go back into history, King David, before he went to the spirit realm, he put all the nations around about them in subjection. Okay, he went through his years, going to war.
Right, 40 years.
Yeah,
Well,
40
40
years of
years,
war.
because King David he ruled in Hebron for 7 years,
Yep.
and they ruled over Israel in 33 years,
Yep.
a total of 40. Just like Solomon too. Solomon reigned for 40 years, so
Yeah.
we had 40 years of really in the time of Solomon. That's when we had peace.
That's it.
That's when we had peace. In the time of Solomon, 40 years.
Right. That was like the little spears of the kingdom right there.
Yeah, that's it. We was in the land. We was prospering.
Right. Because we had all the nations under subjection by the hands of King David. And he set garrisons up in these other nations to make sure everything was good. And he left it to his son, King Solomon, to enjoy that peace. And not just him, but the nation of Israel to enjoy that peace for 40 years, man.
Right.
So it was like, that's why I say like a little taste of the kingdom right there,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so back in First King chapter 11 and verse 29,
Yep.
and it reads, one day as Jeroboam was leaving Jerusalem, the prophet
Ahijah.
Ahijah, Salaki, from Shiloh met him along the way. And Ahijah, Salaki, I can't pronounce it, but then Ahijah,
Ahijah. Yep. Con.
Ahijah, yeah, I can't say Salaki, was wearing a new coat. The two of them were alone in the field, in a field.
Mm-hmm.
And Ahijah took hold of the new cloak he was wearing and tore it into 12 pieces.
Mm-hmm. This is what's going to represent. We're going to go down to it.
Verse 31. Then he said unto Jeroboam, take 10 of these pieces, for this is what the Lord, Yahweh, the power of Israel say, I am about to tear the kingdom from the hands of Solomon, and I will give 10 of the tribes to you.
Right, so the 12 pieces is the what? The 12 tribes. You see, and the Lord was speaking through Ahijah, which was a prophet, right, telling Jeroboam, look, I'm going to give 10 of the tribes to you. You see, this is where the division started. And why? Why was the kingdom going to be divided? You
right.
see?
Right.
It says, I'm going to tear the kingdom from the hand of Solomon. Why? What did Solomon do? As we're going to get into it.
Right. Verse 32. But I will leave him one tribe for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel.
Mm-hmm. Judah.
That's it.
Yeah. Verse 33. This is why the Lord is separating, rending basically the kingdom of Israel from Solomon.
Verse 33. For Solomon has abandoned me and worshiped Asherah, the goddess of the Sidonians, Chemosh, the god of Moab, and Molech, the god of the Ammonites. He has not followed my ways and done what is pleasing to my sight. He has not obeyed my decree and regulations as David, his father, did.
Right, so King Solomon, he went into idolatry, man.
Yeah.
Because if you go up in the chapter, I'm going to just go up. I'm going to get it. And in the top of the chapter, it goes into how Solomon, he loved many strange women. And that's not the reason why he went off.
Right.
All right, for you people out there, that's not the reason why he went off by having, multiple wives of, different nations. Mm-hmm. It was, well, we're going to read it. All right, 1 Kings 11 and verse 1. It says, now King, we'll read in KJV. We're doing in KJV. It says, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. All right, it says, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go unto them. Why? Because what did Solomon do? He went into idolatry. He started following the specific nation, these women that he was with. Right. He started following after the gods of their nations.
Right, his concubines.
You see?
Yeah, he started, and as a brother was saying, was speaking about this one time. He was strict in his old age, and
yeah,
he started, like you're saying, building these idols for his concubines.
Yeah, the concubines probably put in a word. He probably
right.
being seductive and stuff, and
right.
you know how it go. Yeah, I do this for you, baby.
yeah,
basically, But it says, which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your hearts after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. He has 700 wives and princesses. And this is not why he went off.
Right.
It wasn't because he had so many wives.
Nah.
He has 700 wives and princesses. And concubines, and turned his wives, and it says, and his wives turned away his heart. See, right, to these other gods.
Yep.
It says, verse 5, I'm going to skip down. It says, for Solomon went after Ashereth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. So basically, he went on to these other gods of these other heathen nations of the women that he was getting with that were concubines.
Right.
You see, and really, you're supposed to have them as concubines. You're not supposed to have heathen wives.
Right.
Heathens as wives.
Wives, right.
Because when you have a wife, all right, you're joining houses together.
That's it.
You see, you're not supposed to do that with a heathen woman. That's
Right.
why the heathen woman, you keep them as concubines.
Right.
You only have a wife with Israelite women.
Right. And that's why it's in our law to keep them as concubine. And it's always been through. Just like that's why in the law we say we ain't supposed to have children with them.
Right.
Because the point is, back in history, when when they was building the temple, I forgot what.
Really, the children not supposed to, because you're not supposed to, because the children, they grow up and they start learning after the way of the heathen.
That's it.
They start learning their language and their gods. And you're not supposed to do that.
Right. What was that? What book is that? When the kid disrespect the name of the Heavenly Father.
Oh,
man.
That was in the wilderness, I believe.
I believe it was in
Numbers in the book of Numbers, I believe.
Numbers, I believe, yeah, because he cursed the Most High.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And he was a heathen because the mom was.
Yeah, the mom was an Israelite, but his dad was a heathen.
Fucking heathen. His dad was a heathen, and
yeah,
they stoned his ass to death.
Yeah, that's a heathen.
So that's one reason why we shouldn't be, mixing and mingling with these other nations. You can have them as concubines. And then, we know the kid is always because through the men.
Right, it's to the father.
To the father.
That kid's an Israelite, and he's supposed to be in his Israelite heritage.
Right.
Not following after the gods of the other nations.
Right.
Because he's an Israelite. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to worship only one God. That's the Heavenly Father.
That's it. So, you should not make no concubine your wife, man. They just supposed to be.
It's a concubine. That's why they're a concubine. They're a lesser wife.
That's it, yeah.
And they're supposed to be only made out of the heathen nations.
That's it.
But, yeah, verse 34.
Okay. Back down to 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 34.
Whoa, Slakia. Well, we did, 34, Slakia.
1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 34. But I would not take the entire kingdom from Solomon at this time for the sake of my servant David, the one whom I chose and who obeyed my commands and decrees. I would keep Solomon as leader for the rest of his life.
Right, so out of sake for his servant David, the promise that he gave to David, look, that that the ruling would be through your line. Right. That the ruling class would be through your line. You see, so the Lord showed mercy. He said, look, I ain't gonna completely take away all the tribes from you. I'm gonna leave a remnant, a little of the tribes with you. But 10 of the tribes, they go into Jeroboam. You see, because of your Solomon's sin.
Right. To show you how the Most High he's a man that he should not lie.
Yeah.
He honored his servant David, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, I'm not going to take all of them from him.
Yeah. So, and he goes all the way down to Yahushua too. Yeah. Yahushua's going to be ruling.
Yeah. I'm going to try with Judah, yeah. So he's like, I ain't going to do it, but I'm going to take 10 from him, though.
Right,
Go ahead, you got something?
No, I was just saying, Yahushua came from the lineage of David.
Yeah.
King David.
Boy, yeah. Hey, man, when you get the understanding of these scriptures, it'll be like, whoa, you're like, oh, shit, but that's another lesson. But 1 Kings 11 and 35, but I would take the kingdom away from his son and give 10 of the tribes to you.
Right, there you go, the division. That's when the kingdom is going to split. It's already been written in the heavens that this is going to happen. It's already been said by the Lord. So just to get, I'm going to try and skip around just to get the point. I don't want to read the whole chapter, but if you want to get good get good context and good history, you could read 1 Kings 11 and 12. It goes into the separation, of Israel. You see, but I'm not going to go to not read the whole chapter in this lesson. No, of course not. But just get the main points. And let's go to verse 40.
Yeah, and that's the beginning of the beef between the two tribes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the differences.
We're
going to go into that because in 12 is going to talk about how Rehoboam, King Solomon. Well, we're going to get into it. Verse 39.
Okay, so 1 Kings 12 and verse 39. I'm going to keep it in NLT.
Yeah, come.
Oh, you say 39?
Yeah, 1 Kings 11 and 39.
Okay, so I went to 12. My in 39, and it reads, here we go. Because of Solomon's sin, I will punish the descendants of David, though not forever.
Right, not forever. Verse 40.
Solomon tried to kill Jeroboam, but he fled to King Shishak
Shishak. Yeah, Shishak
of Egypt and stayed there until Solomon died.
Right, so yeah, I guess Solomon, he realized that look, the kingdom's gonna give it over to him, and he tried to kill him. And then Jeroboam fled, and King Solomon died, and it says in verse 42, Solomon ruled for 40 years, and he died, going into that. So we'll go to chapter 12.
Okay. Yep. So Jeroboam, once Solomon died, I'm good now.
Yeah, he good now. Yeah. This is where Jeroboam come back. Once King Solomon died, and his son came out, he said, okay, I'm good. I can go back.
Yeah. And you remember, it was prophesied. He was told to Jeroboam.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That the kingdom gonna split.
Yeah, and he gonna give it to you.
Give it to
Imagine how he was feeling right there.
Yeah.
He's probably feeling himself. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Like, okay, yeah.
I don't know. He could have probably been home. I don't know. Yeah, 1 King 12:1 NLT.
Okay. 1 King 12:1. Jeroboam went.
Rehoboam.
Rehoboam went.
Which is the son of King Solomon.
Mm-hmm. Rehoboam went to Shechem, where Israel had gathered to make him king. When Jeroboam the son of Nebat heard of this, he returned from Egypt, for he had fled to Egypt to escape from King Solomon. The leaders of Israel summoned him, and Jeroboam and the whole assembly of Israel went to speak with Jeroboam.
Rehoboam.
Someone keep saying Jeroboam. Rehoboam. Your father was a hard master, they said. Lighten the harsh labor.
Right, so Jeroboam was Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel is basically, coming to Rehoboam, the king at this time, asking, basically complaining,
Right.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. Your father was a hard master, they said. Lighten the harsh labor, demands, and heavy taxes that your father imposed on us, that we will be your loyal subjects.
Mm-hmm.
Rehoboam replied, give me 3 days to think this over. Then come back for my answer. So the people went away. Then King Rehoboam discussed the matter with the older men who had counseled his father Solomon. What is your advice? He asked. How should I answer this people?
Right, so Rehoboam had went to King Solomon advisors. As you're going to go into, these are King Solomon's advisors. Once King Solomon's advisors, but King Solomon died, then it became Rehoboam's advisors.
Right.
Older men, seasoned men, wise men.
Wise men, right.
You see, but we gonna get into it. And it baffles me how you could possibly, but we're gonna get into it. Because now I'm gonna say this: King Solomon, he was a wise man. He was the most wisest man on the earth at that time. The Heavenly Father gave him wisdom, knowledge and understanding.
Right.
He was the most wise man. He really didn't need advisors.
Right.
Really, he had it all. So knowing that, let's get that. Let's keep going.
Hey,
You got anything?
Pretty out here, why don't read Wisdom of Solomon?
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's wisdom, man.
Wisdom.
He was dropping wisdom in that. That's King Solomon, man. It's like the brothers say, he had all the wisdom. That's what he prayed for.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, back in 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 8 or 7.
Give for 7.
7. The older counselors replied, if you are willing to be a servant to these people today and give them a favorable answer, I will always.
They will.
they will always be your Lord subjects. And Rehoboam rejected the advice, but Rehoboam rejected the advice of the older men.
Right, the older men, the advisors who advised King Solomon himself, man. Imagine that. This man, see,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. How can you reject the wise counsel of King Solomon's advisors? King Solomon didn't even need advisors.
Right.
The wisest man on the earth had advisors.
Right.
And you reject that, but who did he listen to? You got anything to add?
Yeah, because you got to understand, Rehoboam was around his father and these older men, so he probably kind of.
Yeah, he probably got some game.
He probably got about listen, he knows Solomon was giving him game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Hey, it's crazy. But Rehoboam reject the advice of the older men, and instead asked the opinion of the young men who had grown up with him and were now his advisors.
Wow. So you gonna accept the advice of young men who really don't know nothing, the same age as you,
right,
that you grew up with. You gonna accept they advice.
Right.
They don't, instead of wise older men. See, that's how should I say it? That's a lesson for us now.
Right.
We should look at this and be like, okay, we can learn from this.
Right.
We can learn from the mistakes of Rehoboam. To listen to older, wise men that been doing this thing.
Right.
That been doing this life thing for a while now.
Right. Like our heads, the apostles.
Right, that's it.
The elders and men down who been in the truth for many years.
Yeah. He've been through it all.
Experiences. That's what it is all about, experiences. So when we hear them talk about their experiences and the things they went through, and we ever come to that point, we should know how to deal with it because we got that advice from our heads.
Yeah, kind of.
How to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Not no man coming in 6 months and say, "Hey man, that's what I do."
Yeah. You don't know nothing.
You
don't know nothing.
Thing,
that's like a 6-month-old. He just blabbering. He's like, you know how babies talk, and you be like, "Oh yeah, I understand that. I'm gonna take your advice." And then that's just stuff like that.
And in a common life world you living in, you have your father. Yeah. And Jay got a father that tell you something then, but he take advice of his homeboy he hang with every day.
Yeah. Young niggas.
Young nigga don't know shit.
Rehoboam was listening to young niggas that he grew up with.
So look what they said. They say
verse 9.
And they gave him the worst advice.
Worst advice. But it was all through the Spirit, though.
Yeah, it's all through the Spirit.
It's all through the Spirit, though. The Heavenly Father wanted that to happen.
Yeah, right. Ain't nothing, this the Heavenly, we always say this the Heavenly Father movie, man.
Yeah.
So 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 10. No, 9, right?
9.
9.
Yeah. Just verse 8, he rejected the advice of the older men.
Right.
And instead took up the advice of the young men who he grew up with, who he known. So verse 9.
Verse 9. It reads, "What is your advice?" He asked them.
Right, the young men.
"How should I answer these people who want me to lighten the burdens imposed by my father?" The young men replied, "This is what you should tell those complainers who want a lighter burden. A little finger is thicker than my father's waist."
And if you go into KJV, it's talking about, it says, "My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins." Something like that. So basically, you insulting the people.
Right. Insult.
That's your response to it, And that's the worst advice you can ever give somebody. That's worst advice ever.
Right.
Verse 11.
"Yes, my father laid heavy burdens on you, but I am going to make them even heavier. My father beat you with the whips, but I will beat you with scorpions."
Yeah, so basically he said, fuck you, basically what it is.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't care. I'll put harder taxes on you. I don't care. Basically what it was.
Right. And so you didn't even learn why the people love your father.
Yeah.
And you should have took that blueprint of your father and how the people respected him and loved him and honored him But then you want to take advice from young niggas to make,
Yeah. These yeah.
put more burden on the people for you can be hated now.
Right. That's yeah. These older men, they've been around King Solomon. They know. I mean, not King Solomon. Well, yeah, King Solomon. You know, these men, they've been around King Solomon. King Solomon, you know, he got game from, you know, King David. And King Solomon, he ruled the kingdom too. He ruled it good too.
Right.
You know, so why not take the advice of older men who've been around your King Solomon, how a kingdom should be really run.
Right.
You know.
So your father had a peace for 40 years in ruling with no discrepancy or nothing going on. And now you want to take advice from some young YNs.
That's crazy.
Some YNs and be like, man, fuck them.
Yeah.
They complain about it, put more hell on these fools.
Yeah.
Fuck them. That's all they doing. And it's crazy. He took it.
Mm-hmm.
But like we say, it's our part of the Heavenly Father movie. It's his story, man. His storyline. Okay, so 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 12. 3 days later, Jeroboam and all the people returned to hear Rehoboam's decision, just as the king had ordered. But Rehoboam spoke harshly to the people, for he rejected the advice of the older counselors and followed the counsel of his younger advisors. He told the people, my father laid heavy burdens on you, but I am going to make them even heavier. My father beat you with whips, but I will beat you with scorpions. So the king paid no attention to the people. This turn of events was the will of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, for it fulfilled Yahweh's message to Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, through the prophet Ahijah from Shiloh.
Right, so this is when the Lord's word was fulfilled, man.
That's it.
You know, so the king paid no attention to the people. This turn of events was the will of the Lord, like we just said. This is all part of the Lord's plan because he wanted to rend the kingdom from King Solomon.
That's it.
You know, because of what? King Solomon's sin.
That's it.
You know, but verse 16.
Verse 16. And when all Israel realized that the king had refused to listen to them, they responded, down with the dynasty of David, we have no interest in the son of Jesse. Back to your homes, O Israel. Look out for your own house, O David. So the people of Israel returned home.
Right. So that was it. You know, we're gonna end it there. You know, we'll stop there. Just that's after that. You know what Rehoboam said. You know, insulted the people. You didn't want to listen to their cries. Hey, basically, this is when the rebellion started. This is when the division started. Right. Rebellion. You know, and all the 10 tribes aligned under Jeroboam. You see, this is where the division. We're just going into history of how the kingdom, the kingdom of Israel was split.
Right.
You know, in the time of King Solomon.
Due to the heavy burdens he was putting
on
people.
Yeah, due to the heavy burdens.
You know, they were even talking about, hey, can you not tax us, you know?
Yeah, not taxes. No, so at least, you know, take the taxes
them,
off.
Yeah, heavy taxing them, heavy burdens on them.
Yeah.
So they feel like, man, we feel like we...
Yeah, that's
we under a dictator.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they felt.
Mm-hmm.
But as the brother was going into, we keep saying it's all part of prophecy, though, you know?
That's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is when, you know, Israel started to rebel. You know, it started to separate themselves, you know, from what is it? From the dynasty of David.
Right.
From the throne of David. Right. You know, and they separated. You know, just going into history.
Right.
This is the history part of it. Now we're just gonna get into how it's now being restored back. You know, the enmity that was once between the northern and southern kingdom of Israel now is being restored back. You know, by the preaching of his word, we're now building up the tabernacle of David once again.
Right.
Through the preaching of his word.
Yeah, and kind of like speed up in history. So once this kingdom was split here, we understand that the northern tribes went into captivity under the Assyrians. All right, when you read the book of Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, it go into how they.
Well, it's like, if I may add, you go into First Kings or Second Kings. The 17th chapter goes into how Shalmaneser of Assyria,
it.
had taken away, had basically put northern kingdom in captivity.
Right.
Yeah, and put heathen inside the land of Samaria.
Right.
You
And
see?
I was like, oh, you was done with it?
No, you're good.
So I want to talk to you.
No,
It's
good.
like, yeah, but that happened because Jeroboam started worshiping idols.
Yeah. And
He tried to team up with Egypt, the Egyptians, because he thought they were going to help him.
Yeah.
He was trying to get the Egyptians to go against the southern tribe.
Yeah. So it was the northern and southern tribe. They were at variance. They were at enmity, and it really started with this. What we're reading now.
Tribal war, yeah.
With that insult that Rehoboam, and it just further put a rift between northern and southern kingdom.
Yeah, and from that point, that's when it just split for good, you know.
Yeah.
And as we go into history, kind of like the brother kind of stopped it, but he was a good point he brought out, kind of speed up to it after they went into slavery under the Assyrians. You know, the kingdom was split from then.
Right. And
Because
then
after that, when the northern or the southern tribe went to captivity under the
Babylonians, yep.
The Persian Medes,
Right.
down to the Greeks,
Mm-hmm.
the Romans. Now we're in the revival Rome. Okay, so we're gonna get into how now, here in these end times, how the tribes got back together. The northern tribe, southern tribe got back together through the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Shai.
Kind of, you was mentioning the point where northern tribe in 2nd Ezra 13.
Yeah,
You know how northern tribe, they came over. They fled the Assyrian captivity. They came over here, to America, but it wasn't called America at the time. It was called Ahasuerus.
right.
They went to the other side of the world.
Yep.
You know.
They say where no mankind dwell.
Right. That's where you get Gad, Reuben.
Yep.
You know, they were already over here.
Yep.
You know, and that go all the way back into history.
Right. And we were speaking about that on the block last night. Like, even when King Solomon was in rule, he knew about over here, America.
Over here, yeah.
Because that's where they were getting all the gold. He had a lot of resources over
Yeah,
here.
you were getting resources over here.
The peacocks. Remember, you were bringing peacocks back from?
Yeah.
When you go into animals and different
Yeah.
animals and peacocks and stuff.
Good.
So they already knew about over here in Americas, okay? So that's why the northern tribe, that's how they knew. They get on that, the boat, the vessels, the ship and come over here. They already knew.
Right.
Because when they left, they said, we're going to go to a land that we never dwell before, mankind never dwell before, and we're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments there.
Yeah, but that
And
was
they
a
did
lie.
for a while, but
They probably kept it for a while, but then Israel, being Israel, turned back into rebellion. All right, went into idols.
Right.
You see, it's always been a fall of the Israelites, man. We come up, then we fall, sin. We come up again, we fall again. In the time of Judges,
Yep.
we came up, we had a judge, then we ultimately fall back and down. We cry unto the Lord will save us, and we fall back down into sin.
Right.
It's been an up and down roller coaster.
Right.
All right, all the way since in the time of Adam.
Man, shit.
You know.
Long time.
So a long time, man. We only really enjoyed our homeland for 40 years. I mean, 80 years.
Right. Man, if the Heavenly Father didn't set up the elect before the foundation of the world,
We'd be done.
We'd be done as a
It
people.
would be done. We'd be done, man.
Because he already cast us out. And then
Right.
if it wasn't from his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, to go on that cross and die for our sins.
Yeah, we'll still be justified by the law. We'll still be made. We'll still be under being justified by the law,
Right.
being made righteous by keeping the law perfectly, which we'll never do in this flesh.
Right.
It's impossible.
Right. So we went through the first part of this lesson going into the history.
Right.
Like I say, go check out 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, around the 40, start at verse 40, and read all the way down and going into what we just spoke about, the northern tribes coming over here to the Americas, okay?
Right.
Fleeing from the captivity of the Assyrians, all right? So,
The game was 9/11. Amos 9/11.
okay, now Amos chapter 9 and verse 11. You still want it in there?
No, you get KJV.
Amos chapter 9.
Yeah.
This computer be on it. Slide out my computer.
Yeah, so we after we just went into history, we just going into how, all right, now, all right, the kingdom of Israel, the breaches are in the differences between the northern and southern tribe, are now being closed up again. Now, we're being gathered together by the word of Yahweh by Shem Shai. We're now building up the tabernacle of David, which was fallen. See the division.
That's
You see, this is prophecy happening before our eyes, man. You got northern and southern tribe preaching the word together. Saying we Israelites. Coming together. This is all prophecy that's happening. You had something with that.
Yeah, because that's read because as we going into history, the kingdom has split.
Yeah.
So the northern tribe was over here in America for many of years.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Northern. You say northern?
Yeah, Salak. I said southern.
Yeah, the northern.
Northern's been over, so it's been that split for a long time. Just think about that. Now we're not saying that it wasn't northern.
A little bit of a remnant of northern tribe within southern tribe.
Right, probably through marriage and things like that.
Yeah, joined into southern tribe through marriage
and things like that, but
or probably just stayed in there. Stayed in.
Yeah, just stayed.
With
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it was the majority of the northern tribes.
Yeah.
They was over here in America, so they split been for a long time.
Yeah.
You know.
Even before they, we went into, even before the split, or even before they went into captivity, the Assyrians and under the Babylonians, there was always an enmity with each other. They was fighting against each other. Yeah. Northern and Southern Kingdom was fighting against each other.
Yeah.
You know?
How you say Judah won't, how you say Judah won't vex?
Judah won't, it's something like that. Yeah. Judah won't vex Ephraim.
And Ephraim won't vex,
I'll get it.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get it.
Okay.
Bear with us.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
All right.
This is Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversary of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
Right. Again, in NLT it says at the last, Isaiah 11 and 13, NLT it says, then at last the jealousy between Israel and Judah will end. Right. The northern and southern kingdom will end. They will not be rivals anymore. Right. You see, and this happening today.
Right.
And you still have some northern kingdom look at Jake the wrong way. You got northern kingdom that look at Judah the wrong way. Right. You got Judah that look at northern kingdom the wrong way. But majority of us in this truth, we don't look like that. We don't look at our northern kingdom brothers like that.
Right.
And you still have people in this truth that look at our northern kingdom brothers like that. With that enmity. But now through the preaching of this word, we're now realizing that we all one people. We all on one accord. We're being gathered together through the word of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua.
Right, and it's a perfect precept to go with it. You just called Amos 9
God.
and 11, because this is what's happening in the end time. Okay, and this beginning with the elect.
Right.
All right, that's why when I read it, Amos 9 and verse 11, and that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen.
Right, what we just read in history. There was, in the time of King David and King Solomon, the kingdom was one.
Yeah.
You see, but it fell. It was divided. Why? Because it first started out with King Solomon's sin.
Right.
It has fallen. But the Lord is saying, look, I'm going to raise it back up, the tabernacle of David, in that day, know?
Because the fall off was between Rehoboam and Jeroboam.
Yep.
Right? And it reads, and close up the bridges.
The breaches.
The bridges. I don't know why I can't get that right. So like it. The bridges thereof.
Right. The breaches is the differences between the tribes.
Right.
You're going to close that up.
Yep. That's that so-called beef with each other. Because what you do, like if you build say a fortress around your palace, what's the breaches? When somebody break that wall.
Yeah.
And now they can access to get in. So the wall, that bridge is that what kind of call it? That wall was broken. Okay?
Right.
And then it's exposed. You exposed to the enemy.
Right.
So yeah, that's what it's going into. So they're gonna close up breaches thereof, meaning we have to close that wall back up. Fill that hole back up.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as the days of old.
Right, and it's being built up starting right now as we're in the American captivity, Babylonian captivity. We're building up through the preaching of this word. You see, and it's gonna return back into its former glory, fully in the kingdom of heaven. This is when northern and southern tribe will be together. We're all gonna be one, in the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel. Once again, not just southern and northern tribes. You know? You anything you want to add?
Yeah, and that's what's happening, man. That's coming. Starting with Elder Albert Bibbins,
Yeah.
High Priest Elder Albert Bibbins.
Yeah, it started with him. You know, that's when the starting of the building started, you know?
That was started building it. So that's why you see on the highways and byways the northern and southern tribe brothers out there preaching the gospel together, man.
Mm-hmm.
It started with the elect. All right. So that's
We
what
can do verse 12. Let's give verse 12 a little quick.
Okay. And it reads that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen.
Ooh, so we're gonna have heathens in our possession.
Right,
what does that mean? Slaves. That's what it means.
That's it.
In the days, so it says, I will build it as in the days of old. So right, the tabernacle of David is going to be built up just as it was before, and then it's going to happen fully in the kingdom of heaven, and it's just starting now through the preaching of this word first.
Right.
And it says once they may possess the remnant of heathen and of Edom and all the heathen. Right. So in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna possess Edom's land. He ain't gonna have no land.
Right.
And we're gonna possess all the heathen.
Right. Hey, it's like the days of old.
Yeah, because
Tabernacle of David.
yeah, because King David, he had all the kingdoms and subjection.
With garrisons in their land.
Yeah, garrisons in
Making
their
sure make sure they playing by the rule.
Yeah, if you got garrisons in someone's land, that means that you own them.
Yeah, you own them.
You conquered them.
Yeah, in case you get out of line, that's like a taskmaster over you.
Just like America. America got military bases all over the world.
Right. Embassies everywhere.
Yeah.
Military bases everywhere because that's their little garrisons.
Yeah.
So when you get out of line, they can, hey, okay, we'll send the big boys over here.
That's right.
Control it. So that's what it is. They being conquered. So that's what we're going to do. We're going back into the tabernacle of David when we're going to conquer these other nations, man.
Right.
In the kingdom, man. That's what it's going into. And he say, I'll read it again, verse 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen which are called by my name, said the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, that doeth this.
That's right. So hey, Israel coming back. Israel gonna make a comeback. At the end of the day, that's what it's talking about. Israel, all right, the tabernacle of David is gonna make a comeback, man. It's gonna be starting with the elect first, man.
Right. It's start with the elect, 12,000 men from each tribe, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, you anything you wanna add?
Yeah,
Anything else?
That's it with you?
No, you got a piece of?
No, I got a piece of I get with this here, because we're speaking of the elect, and they're being built. You can go to, you read it from Revelation chapter 7. And you can start at verse 1.
All right. This Revelation, all right, 7 and verse 1. It says, and after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Right, and these are angels holding back the destruction of this place.
Right, that wind, that nuclear wind.
That nuclear wind, right? And it's it holding it back until all the elect has been sealed. Okay, the 144,000 was the tabernacle of David. Go ahead.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried out, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
Right. So I jumped the gun a little bit till you seal the servants, the 144,000 men, those who are going to come into the knowledge in these last days, man. Those men also was set up before the foundation of the earth, man.
That's it.
Okay, so the subtitle here said 144,000, and we're just going to read down to 8, and then we'll end it if you ain't got nothing else.
I was going to get Baruch 5 and 5.
Okay, come on,
after
get that.
this.
Want to get that first? You want to get this?
We can read this. We read cool.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Verse Revelation 7 and 4, it says, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Right, 144,000, the tabernacle of David.
Right, all the tribes, it said.
Right.
It ain't going to be no different. It's just going to be one tribe.
Right, we just read that in Isaiah the 11th.
All the tribes of the children of Israel, one nation.
Yeah, we just read that, how they
Right.
be, Judah won't vex Ephraim, you know,
Right.
we just read that.
They no longer going to have that rivalry between each other.
Right.
They're going to be one.
Right, so they start with the elect men to come back to that. Hey, that's beautiful, man. You just sit back and like, damn.
Right.
You know?
That's it.
That's it, go ahead.
Verse 5, it says, of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000 Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zabulon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. And Joseph, all right, namely Ephraim. Well, Ephraim namely mean Joseph. They're Ephraim, all right, and Joseph are same thing. All right, then they're how do you say it? They're synonymous with each other.
Interchangeable.
Interchangeable. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. It says, of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000, or Ephraim. Of the tribe of Benjamin was sealed 12,000. It says, that was pretty much it. You want to go down?
That's it. It's just showing you that.
All right.
Hey, those, what are you going to read verse 9?
Verse 9, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all the nations and kindreds and people and tongues stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
Right, and that's the elect being delivered, man.
Right, and the great multitude of men, women, and children whom the Lord will have mercy upon.
Right.
You have the 144, you have the elect within the elect.
Yes.
They're all of the elect category of the elect. They're going to be delivered, but you have the 144,000 men, which come from 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes. And then you got the lo, I behold, a great multitude which no man could number. Right, the multitude of men, women, and children whom Yahweh Bashim Yahshua will have mercy upon.
Yeah.
And this mainly going to be like the elect families, their wives, their children. And you may have particular men that may not be of that 144,000, but the Lord going to have mercy upon them because they believe and they have faith.
They be like, helpers,
those friend of the prophets.
They're going to be the men. So this goes bow down to it, man. Hey, that's the elect. That's the house of David. The tabernacle of David is just being built right now as we speak, man.
Right.
This is end-time prophecy, 12,000 men from each tribe, which make up the tabernacle of David and the elect today. Those men who were sealed before the foundation of the world, man.
That's it.
Which is the same, probably the mighty man King David ran with.
Yeah, could be.
Could be. Some of the men. Then you have the 144,000 who with Yahweh Shai creating everything we see around us, man. Those are the men, so that's important, man. And very exciting knowing that you can be one of them men. That's why brothers give diligence to making their call and election short. Mm-hmm. Just by being part of the elect, just not being part of the elect, you got to go just meditate on that. Just imagine if you are the elect, all the things that you did or help create, we see. Hey, that's special, man. Yeah. Most High shows your spirit to be part of his elect, man. That's special, bro.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But that was it on that one.
I'll just get Baruch 5:5 real quick. I can read it. It says, Baruch 5:5. It says, arise, O Jerusalem, which in the Hebrew is Yerushalayim, which means city of peace. All right. So it says, arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about towards the east, and behold thy children, the Israelites, gather from the west unto the east, right, the four corners of the earth. The Israelites been scattered to the four corners of the earth. It says, so that thy children, the Israelites, gather from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One. You see, so the Israelites, northern and southern tribe, are being gathered together by what? The word, man. Through the preaching of this word, the tabernacle of David is being built up, man. Again, when King David was ruling over all the tribes, man, all together. It says rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High, man. So, hey, that was pretty much it, man. It's all starting with the preaching of this word, man. The preaching of this word is very important, man.
Yep.
But that was pretty much it.
That was it, man. And Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Me and the brother Cobby want to go into a little history. We spoke about last night on the highways and byways how the kingdom split, and then how now you're seeing in these latter days that the northern and southern tribe is coming back together, which is the elect, okay, the 144,000 men who was chosen. So we hope that it was edifying.
Good, Lord willing. But you want to take us out? You can take us out.
Yeah. So we in with that. Once again, we like to give all praises to Yahweh,
Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash.
And once again, double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the hopefully elect. And it begins with the 144,000 men, plus the great multitude. Shalom.